I'm Lorraine Fire, and today I am actually recording this. This is almost exactly 24 hours before this is going up. Hey, Smudge. I'm cold, so I have a blanket. Anyway, I'm recording this about nearly 24 hours before this is actually going up, because when this goes up, I will either be eating dinner or I'll be just finishing setting up for Lake City, which is Saturday. Yeah, Smudge? You comfy cat? These are the little boxes that go inside the advent calendar. There should be 31 of these. Oh! My main goal right now is just a light coating of this black. It's actually a really watery black. That's why I have that other black for other things. But this is a very watery black, and actually should be really good for the thin layer I want. Because I want it to look like a dark wood. It helps if I pour it. Stand from the side and see what I get. Right, this turns out to look a lot like a blue. Which does make sense. And I am going for a stain rather than... There we go. Can I see the outline? I can. That makes that a lot easier. I can still see the outline. Of the shape that's under it. Nope. I'm not really... I should probably at least do the back panel on the inside. Actually, let me check. How visible is the back panel? Almost not at all. How about the one with the lights? I might be painting the inside black as well. But I gotta do the outside of all of them first. And there's 31 of them. At least I'm only doing the outer 3. The most visible edges. At least I'm not doing the bottom. Next one I should probably do the inside first. And I was originally just going to do the outside for all of them and then do the inside. I changed my mind pretty quick. And as I'm only after a thin coat, because I just want it to look like a dark wood. That's it. That's all I'm after. These are shorter. Probably because of the light behind the back. I actually meant to do all this earlier because I wanted to get it up for the whole month. Obviously, that's not happening. Yeah, super thin paint. It says it's a washable paint. At some point, when it's warmer, and I remember to do it, I'll need to coat all of these little individual things in polyacrylic. Just a protective coating. And it'll probably be just one layer. No, not on the front. Dang it. There. There's a little gap right there. Well, these are all put together. Let's get this big one out of the way. I'm not sure there's much point in me painting all the way down, but I'm going to do it anyway. When I paint those things in polyacrylic, it will not be in a live stream or anything, because I will be doing it outside. Polyacrylic has a lot stronger of a scent, and I don't want that inside. And it's two sides. Are you comfy, Smudge? point of this is I would want it to look like a fairly traditional Halloween haunted house. And at the same time, the vast majority of haunted houses are considered Victorian. Or are Victorian houses. There's a lot of Gothic ones too. And I haven't really done the research into how a Victorian house tends to look. But I'm pretty sure there's more natural wood than is considered normal now. And if this is at least a dark wood, it would be fitting. Be combined with Victorian, and as I said, I haven't done the research into it yet, and I didn't really feel like doing that. I'm painting a haunted house for Halloween. I'm not going to put that much research into it. In fact, I'm not really putting any research into it. It's for fun. I need more of that in there. I'm almost out. $31. At least it's fairly quick. Inside first. When I need to number them, number 1 needs to be one of the windows. Because I'm putting number 1 at the top. 1, 2, and 3 will probably actually all be windows. The others will all be numbered randomly, except for the door, which will be number 31. I'm recording this, right? Yes. Who's texting me now? Probably kitty cat picture. I'm busy. But I'll probably paint all the little symbols that are on all these. And then put numbers in the symbols or around the symbol, depending upon what looks best. Because there's a cat and a moon on one of these. And in the symbol might not be the best one for that. Where are you? Cat, spider web, coffin, window. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Okay. It's 4 down. Everything's getting more detailed than what it's got. I'm just starting with this. Layer number 1. Depending upon how long this takes me, depends upon how many videos this will be. It's what is essentially a dark blue. I think covers the spooky Halloween theme pretty well. I'd forgotten it was blue when this thin, but it still works. Apparently a whole conversation's going on. Yankee cat. You're so cute, Cookie. You're so cute. Yeah, and mess with your little head. Okay. That's all. I'd pick him up, but there's still paint on my hands right now. And I'm busy. And he's just so comfy. Plus, if I pick him up, he'll want to escape my room pretty much immediately. And, well, the door's closed. Yeah. Okay. 7 down. Kitty paw? Kitty paw? You not want me messing with your paws? But they're so cute. Yeah, you're adorable. You gotta clean the paw that I touched. How dare I? Just so you see what I'm doing so far, what's happened. It's pretty much going to be about the same thing over and over again. But a lot of these, it's like art projects I need to work on. Whether that's prints, personal projects, chibis. I will be trying to see, I will be seeing if those, pumpkins will sell at Lake City. If they do great. If not, oh well. Because I was going to get them to do the exact same thing anyway for my own personal decorations for Halloween. So, not that big of a deal if they don't sell. If they do sell, great. I have more money to go buy more and do it again. What is this? Number 9. It's not necessarily going to be the number on it, just the number I'm currently working on. Out of 31. There's certain things like the moons. I'm probably going to actually paint them white and then put the glow-in-the-dark paint over that. And that might just be it. Besides the number. I need more paint in there. I don't know how well you can see the paint on my fingers. Whoa. Wasn't expecting that to actually move. There's even a skull and crossbones. $10 down. 21 to go. And then, of course, there's the house itself. I haven't decided what I'm exactly doing with that. This is probably more a Victorian house, a la Addams Family. This is Gothic. This might actually be Gothic. It's hard to tell sometimes. I think this is a Gothic mansion. And it probably also is actually dependent upon which version. Oh, I'm curious. Let's look it up. The Addams Family Mansion. Images. Yeah, pretty sure that's Gothic architecture. I was right the first time. The house that provided the basis for the Addams Family Mansion is a Victorian house. The original. The house originally okay, the Addams Family house, the house that was... Okay, I will get this down. Words and I are not on speaking terms right now, apparently. But the house the original Addams Family Mansion was based off of was a Victorian home. And apparently, in general, Victorian mansions are the horror icon. I was right the first time. Now I want to see a Gothic mansion. some of those look very similar, but a lot of them, the vast majority of them, look more like castles. Whoa. Of course, the time period for Gothic architecture and Victorian, I believe, is close. Timeline of Gothic architecture. Late 12th to 16th century. During the High and Late Middle Ages, surviving into the 17th and 18th centuries in some areas. The defining design element of Gothic architecture is the pointed or ogival arch. I have no idea if I pronounced that right. So it's the pointed arch. And Victorian would be in the Victorian era. Which was when exactly? Ooh, nice. Please give me that. Different types of Victorian style houses. Gothic Revival. That would do it. I wouldn't be at all surprised if those Victorian mansions are Gothic Revival Victorian mansions. That would explain it. Because there's an entire section of Victorian mansions that are Gothic Revival. Time period of Queen Victoria, approximately. I didn't look too closely whether it goes beyond or if it's just during her reign. Gothic and Victorian architecture are some of my absolute favorites. I really don't care for modern architecture. I believe I mentioned before, I think, that I was actually trying for architecture and went to Wazoo. No matter what I did, I couldn't figure some things out in the theory class, and that theory class was required for architecture, landscape architecture, and interior design. Which sucks, because I would probably have been good at least a couple of those. Considering I'm the one in charge of the yard, the gardens, the indoor decor of the house. I am in charge of all of that. And have actually been in charge of all of that for quite a while. My parents have pretty much always gotten my opinion on what I think would look good for it. Still 2 more sides on the inside, not going to the outside yet. And I probably would have liked it. But apparently, getting a job in any of those is really difficult. And I couldn't get past that theory class. It made no sense. No matter what I tried, it made no sense. And then the actual architecture class that semester. So they have it set up so that way you get your assignment Tuesday. It's due Saturday. That week, and it's a big project each time. It's a really difficult whole set to actually do, and for 4 years, sounds exhausting. And there's a reason why they tend to say that architecture students pretty much live in the architecture building. There are couches within that building that people fall asleep on all the time. And often all-nighters are pulled on Friday nights to get the project done in the morning because it's usually due at 7 in the morning. I think it's nuts. Especially when I went and did some other things, geology, which none of that was required. None of that. Due dates for everything was way better in way better time frames. There we go. Of course, for geology, you had to do way more research and find proof for a lot of these things, or at least evidence to support your theory. And I like that a lot better than trying to figure out how to tell someone, you should choose my stuff. That and the architecture teacher for that semester, he preferred modern architecture, all those weird blocks that I really don't like. It's really boring. It's boring and bland, in my opinion. You pretty much made it out of Legos, and even then, Legos can be way more interesting than that. I know I didn't do well in it, but I really don't think I should have outright failed that class. And I did. I outright failed that class, that architecture class. I totally get me outright failing the theory because I could not understand it. But outright failing the architecture class surprised me. I really feel I shouldn't have, and it's not something I can prove. But I suspect it has something to do with the fact that he and I had very vast differences of opinion on what good design makes. And I think it should be interesting instead of these boring straight lines. As I said, it's not something that can be proven, especially this far gone. It's been probably around 10 years, actually. But that's not something I could ever prove, and I definitely didn't think about it right at the time. I was just going, what the hell do I do now? Considering the fact that I failed 3 classes outright that semester, and that was a problem. You've already been told 2 of them. The third one was actually a math class that turns out I shouldn't have been in because I didn't pass the previous class with a high enough grade. And it turns out the reason why, when I finally took Math 99 at the local community college, the big reason why I failed that math class is I was never taught imaginary numbers. I was never taught it. Somehow, in all of my math classes, that was skipped. And that was a requirement in the pre-calculus classes that I was taking. But as soon as I was taught how to do imaginary numbers, whoops, I was not supposed to do the outside first. Everything else became really easy. When I retook the pre-calculus classes in a different university, I got 4.0s in them. Big difference from the less than 2.0 and 0. And that replaced the previous grades because of that. And if anybody has questions, I'm willing to talk about it. If you end up coming with a question I'm not willing to talk about, I'll tell you. But as of right now, I can't think of anything I'm not willing to talk about. And things that might tell you where I live. I'm trying to be careful about that. Because I don't need people trying to figure out where I live and stalking me. I've heard of that happening and I don't want that to happen. I am not interested in being stalked, thank you very much. Yeah? You trying to figure out what I'm doing, Smudge? Yeah, 45 minutes so far, and I'll probably just be doing this. Kind of boring, considering I'm doing the exact same thing over and over and over and over and over again. But oftentimes you need to get a basic layer on things before you actually continue. And it's the most boring part of the project. Like with sewing, cutting tends to be cutting your fabric tends to be the most boring part of a sewing project. Picking out fabric's the most fun. But then you actually have to do the project, otherwise it sits there. And it's like, I have a project I should be working on. Do I want to work on it right now? The answer's no. The answer is almost always no. Because really, I have several projects I should be working on. I have a few different cosplays. Lydia from Beetlejuice being one of them. A female Arthur Pendragon from Merlin. That was partly actually planned in conjunction with one of my siblings. The other was going to be playing Merlin. Obviously that'd be one where, no, we're siblings. No, we really are siblings. And I found really fun references for ideas of how to do art references that people drew fan art for a female Arthur. That's another. I have this fun app. It's called Cosplanner. I have like the full list in there. There it is. It's like, where'd I put it on here? Okay, original character, Abby Scudo. I pretty much... What do I need for that? Pretty much I need a wig and to style it. Because a lot of the things I have for her are things I actually own. That I would wear normally anyway. Inquisitor from Dragon Age. That one's going to be really complicated. Merida and Megara from Disney. Agent Peggy Carter, I actually just need to order a wig and style it. Almost the same thing with Sailor Saturn. Sailor Saturn was complete, but then I went and... There's edits I want to make to it. I want to change the shirt. I want to edit the glaive, especially the bottom part. The top might be fine. This is a character from Ruby, Sienna Khan. She's actually black, but I would obviously not be trying to use paint. I don't do makeup for one, and then oftentimes, unless you're going for a color that's not natural at all, it often looks stupid if you're changing your skin tone anyway, let alone all the other negative and all that connotations to it. But her design is really fun. I have quite the list. There's at least 10 characters there. And only some of them have been worked on. 2 of them are technically at a... No, 3. 3 of them are technically at a point where I can actually wear the outfit, even if it's not complete. My original character, Shalahai, I plan on eventually making wings, and those will be huge. considering I drew the wings in a way that even without magic, I feel could potentially lift the character. Maybe not in actual reality, but they look like they might be of a size that could potentially actually lift the character without doing like the math and such for it. The only ones I don't tend to draw don't always draw characters with wing sizes that will potentially actually lift them are fairies. They're outright fairies. They have butterfly wings and everything. Butterfly styled wings and everything. I'm almost at 20. I have several chibis. I have over 100 chibis. I actually have 120 chibis right now. Currently done, available for sale. 120 different chibis. Because I have 13 laminate and 13 stickers versions available for each and every one of those. 5 of each of those get put in sets. There's a lot of chibis. And I still have the Doctor Who ones to finish. And actually My Hero Academia as well. So I'm thinking of trying to figure out what I'm going to be retiring soon, because that's just a lot of chibis. And I'm not sure I want to be dealing with that many all the time. I do plan on eventually retiring all the Disney Princess ones. Because a lot of them are actually same design, or very close. And replacing them with my version. For instance, my versions of Sleeping Beauty. She's Egyptian, so obviously she's not white. But they're all going to be tied to the same thing with the Estrella princesses. My original characters and all that. Because they're all in the same world. And that world's actually so close dimensionally to our world that a lot of the stories that were actual history in that world ended up as fairy tales here. Although a lot of them ended up twisted in some way. Admittedly, a lot of the ones there are significantly darker. Especially darker compared to the Disney version. But even the original version's darker than the Disney version. I like talking about that kind of thing, but at the same time, it's because it's part of the whole thing I've created. The entire world, my friends and I created this originally, and then a lot of it's just spun off in different ways. A lot of the characters were originally some of our favorite characters from different animes and stuff. That obviously had to change, because those are all copyright characters. I didn't do the outside yet. Moth on its side. I might have to figure out what that symbol's supposed to even be. But really, if you want more information on all of that, that's pretty much everything that's on my Patreon. Get some more water on that brush. Yeah, on Patreon, it's mostly dedicated to the world building. So, like, character sheets, stories and all that about them. Character designs. You often end up really getting sketches, too. I haven't put it in yet. It'll probably be a minimum of $150. And the comment was in Spanish on one of my, it's actually the video that's done the best on my channel. It's a speed wire of one of my ears. It might be dragon, it might be elf, I'm not sure which right now. Pretty sure it wasn't angel or demon. And I know it said thanks. The gracias was actually like the one word I definitely knew. And some of it's just trying to remember Okay, what do I remember from the 2 years of high school Spanish? That was now about 15 or so years ago. Jesus! Yeah. Freshman and sophomore year of high school. I graduated closer to 16, 17 years ago. Wow. But trying to remember, and it's like, okay, I can't remember. I put it through Google Translate. I'm not sure we ever went over some of those words. And it's essentially that they've been wanting some. If the translation was correct. Presuming I got the language correct. Google didn't recognize any of it as Italian, and that's the closest language I can think of to Spanish right now. Considering there's some similar words, even if they don't mean the exact same thing. My sibling's learning Italian. Even though there's a lot of words at least seem similar, even if they're not the same. A lot closer than others. Anyway. I responded using Google Translate to translate what I wanted into Spanish. And then I repeated it in English because I don't know if they have someone that they know English? Do they have someone to translate it? I hope that actually translated correctly in the first place. But pretty much, there was essentially things that, I've always wanted some, and my response was essentially, no prob, I do sell them. The shipping outside the US from the US can be really complicated. Which might be assuming some things about them being outside the US in the first place, but YouTube is a worldwide platform. And the US does not have a specific language. There is no official language in the US. I believe the predominant language in the US, spoken in the US, is English. It's probably followed fairly closely by Spanish by now. I know where I live, there's actually a pretty high Russian immigrant population. Or at least that general area. A few people at my work actually speak what I think might be Russian. I make no promises. But there's no official language in the US. The dominant language is English, but that's it. There's no official language. I have to point that out to my dad all the time. Like, they don't need to speak English. It's recommended because that's the dominant language, but there is no official language of the US. You can speak whatever language you want. And really, you can speak whatever language you want in the other countries, I believe. I don't make promises on that. I don't live in any... I've never lived elsewhere. There we go. Back to what I was going with. I've been thinking about adding a tier on Patreon. It'll be higher than 100, probably at least 150, where I am willing to teach you. And teach you how to do certain things, like the ears. If you go into any convention or whatever and see ears, like elf ears and all that, there's actually probably going to be a few different styles. Because just at Lilac City, when I went there, just to look around, if I was there, there would have been at least 3 different styles of elf ears. Minimum. And that's not even including the other kinds I do. Because there were 2 people selling elf ears, at least. And they were both different. They both also use thicker wire than I do. I prefer the thinner wire. Yeah, I'm not really trying to be neat on this. It's unnecessary. This is just a base, very base layer. But yeah, I was thinking of adding that to Patreon. And like, I do sell the ears, I sell the dragons, I sell all sorts of my stuff. The vast majority of what I do on this channel gets sold. Or hopefully gets sold. This is not something I'm planning on selling. This is for me at home to have fun with. I've been splashing a lot more than I thought I was. Oh well. Oh, I need more paint. Ow. Okay. Whoa. I did not mean to bump it like that. Paw! It's a paw! Yeah, you yanked that paw out of my hand. Get more water on there. Okay. I am almost there. At least with the little boxes. And then probably leave them here to dry while I go do kitchen and stuff. And do the house base on a different video. Yes, Minch, you getting bored? Not very exciting in here, is it? Just me talking to myself. Also talking to you. You're so cute. And yes, I dared touch your little head. Almost there. This is number 30. Number 31. There's all the little symbols on each and every one of these. Oh, this is a much longer project than I thought it was going to be. This might end up being used next year instead of this year, especially when we're halfway through the month almost. Another Kit Kat one. Number 31. Okay. I'll go and paint it. I just gotta figure out where I'm gonna be setting it. Ooh. Really? Ow. My hands are super dry. There's definitely enough paint stuck in that. Considering I've been using it for over an hour. Not really a surprise. Okay, a little more careful because I don't really want it in the roof. Whoops.
Yes.
Could hear that clearly. The problem is essentially all these crossing beams across that separate each little box. Slowly getting there. Got that on my blanket. plan on just mainly painting the front with this. But I just want to paint the sides a bit. Make sure it's not obvious that I didn't. That and light reflection. I have bigger brushes than this. Much bigger brushes. Some water on that. I meant it when I said bigger brushes. A lot of this is for light reflection. And some of it's visibility from the front and the sides. What was that? And the roof tiles will probably be purple. Woo! And I'll probably actually do them in like various shades of purple. See if it will look a little different, more realistic from far away. Okay. I'm not painting the back. Come on. I'm gonna have to rinse these out more thoroughly, probably. Yep, there it goes. Said it's washable paint after all. Yep, that's almost gone. It's meant for children, but it works really well for certain things. Not so well if you want it to be a dark color quickly. Then you want the better acrylic paints. Instead of, what is this actually? Watercolor tempera poster paint. It's not so well with being like dark colors, vibrant colors that you might actually want. Ow! But it's good for the, yeah, let's give you a hug now. It's good for, going over thinly. I'm gonna hide your hand in my arm, head in my arm. Like if you want just, I have a gold and a silver too, so if I just want like a vague metallic color over something, it works really well for that too. Yeah. A smudge. Anyway, that is the base color on all of these. And that, wow, an hour and a half, approximately. Anyway, that's it for tonight. Well, it'll be tomorrow night for you. Yeah, you enjoying those scritches? Anyway, here is the base of all of this. 31 tiny boxes and the main part of the house. That was a lot. Doing all that once may have been a mistake, but at the same time it went pretty quick. Because it was only an hour and a half. It feels like a long time, but at the same time an hour and a half is not that much. Let's see some of these dry ones. Oh yeah, I can see that. Nice. Anyway, so that's it. I'll be at Lake City Comic-Con on Saturday. I am booth, what was it? I think it was B5. I'm pretty much in the second row on the end, relatively close to the 501st and the signing booths. And it's actually a really good thing I'm on the end. It'll be easier for me to get up and be able to help people. Try on ears, readjust them. Yeah. Yeah, so much. I think that's it for now. Because all this 31 little boxes plus the main part of the house. Halloween Advent Calendar is in progress finally. And I'm Larry and Fire. This was a not live. Or not live. Yeah. Because I'm going to be busy. Anyway, see ya.